Hello everyone and welcome back to the results of our yeast feast experiment. Now if you remember previously I've set up an experiment which is to find out what happens when different combinations of yeast, sugar and water are mixed. Now we're actually looking at microorganisms and how they react. So what happens when we put them in different circumstances? Now we had 4 different plastic bottles. If you remember, in bottle 1 we just had yeast and we added water. That was warm water. In bottle 2, we had yeast, we had warm water, and we added sugar. In bottle 3, we just had sugar and water. In bottle 4, we didn't add any water, but we did have yeast and we had sugar as well. So we just had the dry ingredients. Now on each of the bottles, we placed a balloon, which we'd actually blown previously, just to make sure it was expanded. So we got all the air out and sealed the top of the plastic bottle with our balloon. Now what I also did was I've added a strip of sellotape around there just to give an additional seal between the balloon and the plastic bottle. Then we took the plastic bottles and we actually put them in a warm environment as well. And I've left them there for 2 hours. So we're going to find out what's actually happened during that time. Now remember, when you see the results, you want to make first of all a prediction. What do you think would happen to each of those bottles? And then also when we show you the 4 different bottles, record your observations. So have a look at what's happening in the bottle, what's happening with the yeast, water, sugar, if that's what it is. What's happening? What's the colour of the solution or the mixture? What's happening? What does the bottle look like? What does the balloon look like? Now these are all observations that you need to write down, and then you need to examine and think, why is this happening? Anyway, I'm going to do the big reveal. Okay, are you ready? Okay, ready, set and go. Okay, so let's have a look at our bottles and see what's happened. So remember, each of these you need to have your observations for each one. And I'll just move this a little bit closer for you. There you go, so you can really see the bottles, and I'll bring them up a little bit closer as well. So this is bottle 1. And the bottle 1 had our water and our yeast. Now, remember, have a look at the bottle. Okay, what do you notice about the bottle? And what do you notice about the solution? Okay, so you also need to even describe that. What colour is it? What's happening? There's a layer here. What's the layer? If there's any difference around the bottle. So this seems to be a little bit misty here. So what's happening? Okay, and what's happening with the balloon? Now, if you remember, they all started quite flat. This one's a little bit, if I just press it, you can see it's a little bit inflated. So we want to know what's actually happened with that balloon. Now, this one's very exciting. Let's have a look at bottle 2. And this has water, yeast and sugar. So I want you to have a look at the solution. Now you remember you had a look at, you've got to compare the different colours of the solutions as well. And if you notice any condensation that's in the bottle or any, what do you notice on the top of the solution? You can see that. Oops, there you go. So it's actually quite frothy on top. So what's happening there? Also, let's go back to the balloon. I mean, this is pretty impressive. So what's happened with the balloon? Now that's actually quite firm when I press it. So how has this happened? So what's happening here? What sort of reaction is occurring? And what's being released actually in the balloon? Okay, on to bottle 3. So this is our water and sugar. Now, the solution, what colour is it? a little bit different, isn't it, when you compare it? Has it changed at all to when we first saw it? And the other thing to notice is, remember we had water and sugar. So where's the sugar? Okay. And when I have a look at the balloon, there's no pressure at all there. So there's no change at all with the balloon. Okay, I'm going on to the last one. Now, here we go. We've still got a mixture. We've got yeast in there and we've got sugar. So we want to find out what's happened now. We haven't added any water to it, so there's no solution. We've just got our mixture. Let's have a look, because interesting, there's actually some gas in there. When I press it, not as much as this one, but there's definitely some in there. So how did that happen? Remember, they've all been in place for about 2 hours in the warm environment. Now I'm going to leave them overnight as well, but I want you to make observations and speculate as to what's actually gone on during this experiment, and also maybe even say, so we've got the big ones, obviously whatever's happening here is causing the balloon to inflate, which is really, really cool. What could you do to improve the experiment as well? Anyway, that's all for the yeast feast experiment. So remember, this is one that you could try at home as well. You've got everything that you need to test it all, but do make sure you've got adult supervision. Do not try and taste any of the ingredients. When you're in a lab environment, you do not sort of taste any ingredients at all. Anyway, see you soon. Bye.